31.
So everybody's having a good time over here in Roxbury on Dudley Street. What's up, my man? What you been up to? Working hard?
Maintaining.
I hear you.
How you been?
Hanging in there, man. Doing my thing, man. Good to see you. Hey, how's it going? Good afternoon. I'm gonna kind of mingle around in the crowd a little bit. You got the sheriff of Suffolk County right there. How you doing? Hey, what's happening? You're about to get started, so let me get on there. I knew you'd be over here. You know who I'm talking to. How you doing? Good to see you. I'll talk to you later on. What's going on, my man?
What's up? How you doing today?
Good. Coming to check out the event.
When you're reading from the Bible, you're not speaking, you're preaching.
Before the rain comes.
Yeah, we're right on that line too. I know that guy over there too. In the wheelchair. He's everywhere. He's anywhere in Back Bay, downtown, you'll find him. All right, man.
All right, take care. We'll see you around.
All right. Good afternoon.
I know about the power thing.
We have a little audio problems over there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. We are about to get started. Please take your seats if you can.
How you doing, sir? Hey!
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is
I don't know who's sitting here. You sitting
No, that's you, man.
Come sit down here. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Thank you for being here today, and we're pleased to welcome you to one of the first ever events for African American veterans.
Yeah.
The Veterans and Friends of Goldeen Memorial Park is an organization founded by the late Ralph F. Brown Jr. Mr. Brown served in the Korean War, and I believe this idea to found this organization emerged as a promise to honor Black men and women who sacrificed their lives for our country, and a promise to deliver to the next generation of Bostonians and Americans. So today we want to honor the Black soldiers and who served our country, and we're going to do so with reflections from our mayor, Michelle Wu, elected officials, veterans, friends, and with music, poetry, and some really delicious food. Unfortunately, the family of General Edward O Goldeen could not make it to this occasion, but they've asked me to deliver this message to you. Thank you all. We admire and appreciate your dedication to veterans, especially Black veterans, who have made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. We hope that you will always remember and celebrate their dedication and service, and take pride and inspiration from the life of Brigadier General Edward O Goldeen. And now we'll begin the program with an invocation from Pastor Patricia Odom.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. Heavenly Father, we're grateful that you set a time in our life to celebrate the history of veterans. We salute all veterans from the past, present, and future. We are even more grateful for you giving us Edward O Goldeen to make a difference in our culture and life, who joined the Massachusetts Army National Guard and become the first Black Brigadier General in Massachusetts. We are honored that he was a judge to help cultivate decision-making in Massachusetts. We are grateful that you sent him to us, your son, and a leader of this country. May Brigadier General Edward O Goldeen rest in peace, knowing his work through you is being recognized on this day for so many people that helped to make a difference. The work of dedication to the Goldeen Park in Roxbury is a miracle from God. We thank you for the blessings, for blessing us to learn from Brigadier General Edward O Goldeen. Thank you for your blessings, and we hope we all will continue to grow in faith. Amen. Amen.
Next, we're going to have a music selection. The Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing to earth and heavens, wings with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought. Let sing a song of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
That was Shakira, and she's Shakira, you're in high school? She's 17, she's in high school. What's the name of the school you're in? Boston Day and Evening Academy. Thank God, that was absolutely beautiful. Something that we don't know about is what they call now the Black National Anthem. And it's something that the kids, like in the segregated schools in the South and everything, everybody knows that song like the national anthem. But we don't seem to know it up here. That's something else we have to do with education. All right, so I'm on here. I'm Jamada, and I think I'm supposed to, I don't think. Commissioner, you are the MC, right? I know you are. And so the commissioner, I'm not gonna say everybody knows him, okay? But he is Robert Santiago, and he is with the city of Boston, of course, and he is the Commissioner of Veterans Affairs. Is that correct? And so he's going to MC for us. okay? And I'm going to introduce him, and I'm welcoming everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out. One of my brothers called, I think I saw him here, and he was concerned about the weather, and I said, well, you know what? In the military, they didn't care whether it rained or snowed or anything. They had to go do what they had to do. So we can come out here, just bring your umbrella, and we're going to go from here. So, Commissioner, you're on. And all four of my brothers are veterans. That's my brother Sheree. All right.
Thank you, Jamala, for that introduction. And I'm a 20-year veteran of the United States Navy, so when it does rain, we like to go inside the skin of the ship so we don't get wet. Good afternoon, everyone. As Jamala said, I'm Rob Santiago. I'm the Commissioner of Veteran Services for the wonderful and great city of Boston. And it is an honor for me to MC this event here this afternoon. This is long overdue. This is the first annual Black General O Goldeen Veterans event here in the city of Boston. And as you can see behind me is the General Edward O Goldeen Black Veterans Park, which is being worked on right now. It's a project that's been going on for many, many years. And it's great to see that we finally have some movement in the creation and restoration of the park to make it what it's supposed to be for all our Black veterans in honor of General Edward O Goldeen. Men and women, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. Mayor Wu, Councilor Bach, Councilor Murphy, Police Commissioner Cox, Sheriff Thompson, Councilor Hernandez Anderson, Sophia Abdi from the Ayanna Presley's office, Councilor Mejia, Human Services Chief Jose Maso, and Keisha Santana, the Roxbury liaison. So that tells you, just by reading that list, what this park means to the city of Boston and the elected officials that are here in the city of Boston. So thank you all. I'm going to be as quickly as possible with my remarks because I smell the food behind me, and I haven't eaten all day, so I'm very hungry. So, according to the Department of Defense, African Americans make up 17% of active duty military since 2019. This is a vital statistic that deserves to be humanized, especially as we celebrate the accomplishments of our Black veterans. Today, like I said, we start a new tradition here in Boston on Veterans Day. Moving forward, we will have the chance to reflect on and celebrate the many contributions of African American veterans in our history. Without a doubt, our military history is a point of pride for many Americans, but we rarely take the opportunity to thank the many people of color and women who have helped it achieve the greatness it is known for around the world. A few examples. During the Battle of Fort Wagner in 1863, Sergeant William Harvey Carney picked up the fallen flag from his lifeless comrade. He waved the flag for all of the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry to see and led the way to the parapet to plant the colors. After Colonel Robert Gould Shaw was mortally wounded, Carney inspired his infantry forward. Even after sustaining severe wounds, Carney proudly declared, "Boys, the old flag never touched the ground." After this battle, Carney became the first African American to receive the Medal of Honor, the highest distinguished given for military service in our country. During World War I, the Harlem Hellfighters battled Germans abroad and racism at home. Demonstrating a remarkable commitment to country, the 369th Regiment spent 191 days on the front, more than any other Americans in that war. And besides courageously fighting in one of the deadliest conflicts in history, its members also spread a love of jazz and American culture to Europe. During World War II, Olita Crane was one of 3 Black women who entered officer training and the only woman Black officer to be retained after the war. During her years in service and later as a civilian, she fought against racism and segregation in military training and was a trailblazer for both women and service members of color. And Roxbury's own Edward O Goldeen, an athlete, soldier, and judge. In all of his endeavors, he proved to be a barrier breaker. He was the first man in history to long jump 25 feet and the first African American to win a silver medal in the 1924 Paris Olympics in the long jump event. Goldeen was the first African American appointed to the Supreme Court of Massachusetts. He served in World War II as commanding officer of the 372nd Infantry and as commandant of the 272nd during the Korean War, the last segregated military unit in the United States. He retired as the first African Massachusetts National Guardsman with the rank of Brigadier General. This park behind us bears his name, General Edward O Goldeen. It will be a tribute to his legacy and those Black Americans who served our country since the American Revolution. This park will also pay tribute to all Black Americans who have defended the United States in conflicts large and small throughout our nation's history, again from the American Revolution to the present day. This long overdue recognition cannot happen without the tireless dedication and advocacy of the veterans and friends of Goldeen Park. The current members are Haywood Fennell, President, Bob Workman, Vice President, Ernie Washington, Treasurer, who, by the way, earlier this week I had the privilege and honor of presenting him a commendation medal from the First Corps of Cadets. Rachel Brown, Secretary, Shirley Malone Fenner, Clerk, Jamada Smith, Member, Bruce Biggenstaff, Member, Wilma Brown, Member, Ralph Brown Jr., Member, Bridget Brown, Member, Terry Brown, Member, Lillian O'Neill, Member, and Chantal Charles, Member. African Americans have given us freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price on that. So we must remember them, we must appreciate them, we must honor them, and we must take care of them. And as Americans, that's what we must do. Not just today on Veterans Day, but every day. Thank you. One person who wanted to come here today, but she couldn't make it, was Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. Unfortunately, she had to go back to Washington to make some tough and great decisions for our constituents. But she did have a recognition that she wanted me to read to all of you, and thank you, Sophia, for bringing it to us. Appreciate it. In recognition, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley honors Edward Orville Ned Goldeen, a jurist, citizen soldier, veteran athlete, civil rights advocate, and colonel of the 372nd Infantry Regiment during World War II, and commandant of the 272nd during the Korean War. Mr. Goldeen served on the Roxbury District Court from 1951 until 1958 as the first African American to be appointed a Massachusetts Superior Court judge. Our country's greatness is built on the foundation of Mr. Goldeen's courage and sacrifice. Thank you. Given the 11th day of November 2022, Ayanna Pressley, Member of Congress. And at this time, I would like to call up our mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu. I want to thank her for letting me continue to be the Veterans Commissioner.
I want to thank Commissioner Santiago for agreeing to continue the best Veterans Commissioner that any city could have. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you all for being here. I'm feeling a little time pressure. The temperature's dropping. The rain seems to be getting a little lower, and the food's behind us. So I'm going to breeze through my remarks. I have many thank yous because the group that has gathered here today, we remember a year ago when we were inside those gates and at the groundbreaking with Mayor Janey and celebrating with the veterans and friends of Goldeen Memorial Park Community Group. That this park has been a long time in the making. And the tribute that we see here today as we're taking over the street, we had to find our own power, literally try to find a way for our amazing musicians to plug in to the electricity by opening up the fences, jumping over the construction and plugging in. Thank you so much to everyone for your patience as we figured out how to make this event work. We wanted to make sure there would be no gap between last year's first celebration and until next spring when this park will be open and completed. So thank you to everyone for accommodating that. Much of the podium and the power and everything is coming from our police B2 over here, so thank you so much. Commissioner Michael Cox, our police commissioner, for supporting us in every single way, but also stepping in when we need things big and small. And thank you again to everyone who works at the City of Boston. I will give one more shout out from our city teams. One more name to add that's very important is our Neighborhood Services Liaison, Keisha Santana. Also always ready to step in for the big and the small. I'm honored to serve alongside my colleagues. The city councilors have been recognized already, but Councilor Mejia, Councilor Fernandes Anderson, Councilor Murphy, Councilor Bach, and the many colleagues in between who have fought for the funding to be available for this project to move quickly and to fight for our city to be the model for how veterans continue to receive services. This park is critical to how we mark our responsibility and our proud legacy. It's a tribute to an extraordinary man, as you heard, in justice, General, Olympian, and trailblazer Edward O Goldeen, the first Black and Indigenous Superior Court judge in New England, the first Black soldier to earn the rank of Brigadier General in Massachusetts, the first man to hit the 25-foot mark in the long jump. He just cleared every barrier down and then kept going. And the park is also a tribute in his name to the service and sacrifice of all the Black veterans who have risked lives to protect ours. That act of putting your life on the line for a country that doesn't fully see you or recognize your rights under the law or in the economy, that is the ultimate act of hope, of patriotism, and of faith in the future, that each one of us can play a role in just bending that arc a little bit more. And in this moment, I'm so grateful to serve alongside colleagues who know that we don't have time to just bend it a little right now. We need to all grab on and hang on tight. Part of our mission in making Boston a city for everyone is that we will set new standards for how we serve Black veterans when they return home. And we know over the decades, from systemic exclusion from the GI Bill's benefits after World War II to the disparities that persist today in physical and mental health care, in so many ways our Black veterans have been denied the dignity, respect, and gratitude that they deserve, that they have poured and invested into our country. This is one small step in the right direction. Justice Edward O Goldeen Veterans Memorial Park intends to change that by creating a dedicated space to remind us every single day with the plaques and the monuments and the sanctuary to honor and uplift our Black veterans and the service that we owe a tremendous debt to. And so come spring, and then hopefully in time for next Memorial Day, we will be able to do this event properly inside the park, but our work will not end there. And so I'm incredibly grateful to Commissioner Santiago and his team at the Department of Veteran Services for all the work they do to ensure that Boston is a city that is equitable in its care for and service to all of our veterans and military families. So everyone here who has had a hand in the creation and now reinvestments and renovations of this memorial park, thank you so much. To the veterans here today, thank you for your service. Thank you for continuing to serve. I look out and see those who have continued to break new barriers, whether it's fighting for economic justice or arts and representation in our city, in housing, in economic development. We are indebted to you forever, and we will do our part to remember, to keep these investments coming, and to ensure that we hold up this legacy in the great city of Boston. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, there goes my program. Thank you, Chief Moss. Always has my back. The next to come up and speak, we're going to have Councilor Erin Murphy. Councilor Erin Murphy, she is the chair of the Veteran and Military Affairs Committee in the City Council. Councilor Murphy.
Hello everyone, how are you today? It's wonderful to be here. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans and their families who I see in front of me today. And I have to say, you have a good friend in Haywood Fennell. He was one of the first, yes, you do. When I was sworn in on December 1st, I probably had an email by December 3rd of last year advocating for this neighborhood, especially for Black veterans, and really educating us in our office about what was missing and what was needed. And as the president of this committee, he also had reached out at the same time we were talking to the Parks Department and found out that they were about to sketch in the name of the park at the same time you had been working so many years to advocate that this park was named after Edward Goldeen. And names matter, So we were happy, and I have to thank all of my colleagues because we unanimously passed that resolution to make sure that this park is named rightfully after the general. So I just want to say that I'm proud, and I know as a teacher and a mom, and now with the name there, it's going to mean that we can teach our children, and teach our students who he was, who his allies were, who his colleagues were, and we can just learn from that. So thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait for the park opening. I will be back. So thank you, Hayward, for always keeping us on our toes and teaching us every day.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Next, we are going to have a special presentation. We're going to have Lillian O'Neill come up here, Korean Era veteran, to read one of her amazing poems.
Hello, my name is Lillian O'Neill, and I want you to know I'm 83.
All right.
And I've been reading poetry for years. First of all, my father was the first colorist of New York Times. And then I wound up working for the post office for 26 years. And I read poetry there. And then I came close to Ralph and Roma. And then I came into becoming a poet for the 272nd. And I promised that every time I wrote a poem, it would always be about the black guy that never got their rewards or recognition. And that's the way it should be. And we should never let that go. If there's not somebody that will tell their stories, somebody should come. I wrote Woman at the Screen Theater, and I was recognized for that. And I was told to come to Dorchester Library by the mayor. And I again was accounted for. So today, following on with Hayward's program, I'm bringing you back to the words forgive me if I'm a little sad, you know. Let me tell you about the first Battle of the Bulge, December 17, 1944. That afternoon, 80 GI, 33 FBI 11 were captured and shot and killed by the 1S Division. In a moment of confusion, 11 African Americans escaped, moving north towards a tiny village, walking 15 to 16 hours in the sleet, cold, hungry, thirst, with a frozen canteen. They were welcomed in a door to open if they knocked. Fingers, hands, and faces needed warm in the cold. The 11 African American men now earn the name of World War II. In the front of Hamlet's, a white flag, 2 guns, a small piece of soap for 3. They knocked. Matthias Langes invited them in. A language barrier between them. Matthias could not explain. The safest road was out back. Minutes lost in a friendship, warmth, water, bread, butter, yes, laughter. I tried to forget death, but this was war, not safety. Those still faithful to SSI turned World War II in just before dark. Come out, stretch your hands in the air, move them out the door, march them to the back to shelter him behind the house. Those who sit on wet floors of soil in the power past, while the SSI planned their death. Yes, body does get numb. in some areas, while some areas refuse to know. Torture goes in and out of their minds, frozen, afraid of death will come. I closed my eyes, not feeling I could not hide. December 26th, snow now lays a blanket of white snow, protecting the wearer from the bitter cold. Frozen bones with invisible fingers seem to stretch up to the sky, as if to offer their soul to heaven, asking God to keep them home. Empty eyes, which will no longer see. The endless left in their eyes, frozen wide open, looking towards the heaven, praying for closure, asking God to lead their way home. February 1944, winter's first month, 12-year-old Herman Linger on his way to the church. He looks into the field. He sees hands, fingers reached up as if to say, we're still here waiting to be found. I think about war crimes committed on that day. It hurts. Doesn't bring them back again. But the cold composure now still firm, but not the snow. I believe the Most High had his reasons for doing things he does. Maybe because they place their fingers in a state so that they can no longer see and feel. Maybe placing their minds in a state so they can no longer see or feel. I think about those things okay until I cry with pictures still remain locked in their mind.
Thank you, and it just reminds us all that war is ugly. Our next speaker is Karen Etley. She's the current artist of the General Edward O Goldeen statue. She's a cousin of Fern Cunningham Terry, who was the original sculptor of the Goldeen statue, and we all know that Fern also has many other wonderful projects that she completed here in the city of Boston. Karen?
Come on, Karen.
I'm Karen, the artist who's now on this project. Good afternoon. I'm so pleased that we could gather today in remembrance of the selfless actions and sacrifices of our veterans, but especially our African American veterans who have as yet not received the honor due them for their service. I look forward to the completed restoration of Goldeen Park with its emphasis on the sculpture installation commemorating the achievements of General Edward O Goldeen and the service of all African Americans active in the military during every armed conflict throughout the history of our United States. The original vision for this project was a joint one, a collaboration between my cousin, fellow sculptor Fern Cunningham Terry, and the veterans and friends of Goldeen Park. Fern was responsible as well for the central figure of Justice Goldeen. When it was decided that there would be bas-reliefs representing all African American veterans, she brought me on board to create them. Most of the bas-relief sculptures are renderings of actual veterans. A few are local veterans. The rest represent those who were involved in wars throughout the United States history, although only 10 conflicts were selected for our purposes. My desire is to tell at least a fraction of each person's story by accurately capturing the individual's facial expressions. Images were gathered through research done online, from books, and personal photographs that were shared with me. The resource photographs I used while working were generally very small and of poor quality. So when they were enlarged, the details were often lost. It was at these times when I connected most with my subjects. As I could no longer rely on an external image, I began to sculpt the spirit of the person through my physical contact with the clay and my imaginings about what their lives may have encompassed. On another level, I am excited that those being represented and honored by this work also includes my own father and 5 of my uncles who all served in the armed forces. This project has progressed with the continued support of Jeff Bacascio of Bacascio Sculpture Services, who will be doing the sculpture installation. Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts with you today.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you for all the great work that you and Fern have done for this project. Our last speaker is your city councilor and a proud military mother, Councilor Tanya Hernandez Henderson.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, that's me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Peace and love. This is a celebration, right? We're here to celebrate life. We're here to celebrate it in the best country in the world, United States of America. The best city in the world, Boston. Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. I'm a proud military mom, and I'm going to tell you a quick joke, and I'm going to shorten it because this rain and the food smells good. Okay, we got to get to that. My son would tell me that he's joining the Marines. Hoorah! So I would fight with him, and he would say, last time, Mom, I would fight him for months, please don't do it. Last time, Mom, why? What is give me a practical reason, why? So I would say, he said, what would happen? What would be the worst thing? I said, I would just faint and die. Because you guys all know I'm dramatic. And of course, I gave all the reasons, and it was not sufficient. He would go to training every week. I would get in the app. They'd tell you, they'd be like, oh, this week your son is going through the gas chamber and he might die. And you're like, what? I don't need this. When he got back a few years ago, he would tell me about his experience. I asked him about like the worst scenario. He said, I stole some cookies. And while they were admonishing me, all I kept thinking was, you ain't got nothing on my mama. I wanted to make it light because when I asked him, why did you do this? He said, because I am the son of Tanya Fernandez Anderson. But because I want to serve. I believe in God and I love this country. I love my country and I want to serve. I want to give my life in dedication. When you think about African American soldiers and African American military across the board, veterans across the board, you wonder what would make someone give so much of themselves to this country, to a war, to something so horrible. And it's super important for us to highlight how it's not just one war, Civil War, or this war. We've been in every single war. Before the war, we were in war. During the war, we went to the wars. And still today, we fight. And I'm very proud today of Mayor Wu to hear her speech, her heart-warming, compassionate speech about how transformative change turns into equitable, hopefully racial equitable first, investment, fiscal investment in our people. Because if I love you, I respect you. And if I respect you, I show you the money. I invest in you. And that's love. I thank you, all of the veterans here today. I understand, and I don't understand it completely, but I am trying to understand. And I give you my heart, because I understand from my son what it means to give himself and to love his country to the point and to love people that he would sacrifice his life to go to the military and serve. Thank you so much. And one more time, the best thing about this is when people talk trash, I get to say, I'm a mother of a goddamn U.S. Marine. Thank you.
By the way, yesterday was a 200, correct me if I'm wrong, about 270, what is it? 242nd birthday of our United States Marine Corps. Happy birthday, Marines. 47 years old for the Air Force. One thing I just found out that our chaplain tonight, Patricia Odom, she was the first black female recruiter of the Massachusetts National Guard. She received a citation from the government. So thank you for your service. Thank you very much. Next, right now, we are going to have a special presentation of Amazing Grace. It's going to be sung by Cleopatra Wilkins. And take it away.
Hello, everyone. What a great day this is. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that brought me on thus far, and grace my soul conceals. I once was so lost, but now I am found. 'Tis grace that will lead me home.
Oh, that was amazing. Thank you, Cleopatra. That concludes our program, but I do have a couple of thanks that I would like to say out loud. First, thank you to the staff at the Office of Veteran Services. They've done great work for our veterans and their families, and I thank them every day for the great work that they do. To the Brown Trust Fund, to the Parks and Rec, the Frank Wilkins band behind us who did a fantastic job today. Perry's Catering. Perry, by the way, he's in uniform right there. He's a Marine himself, so happy birthday. Of course, Mayor Michelle Wu, our City Council, Councilor Bob, Councilor Murphy, and Councilor Hernandez. The family and friends of Goldeen Park Committee. Everyone here, thank you all for showing up. And most of all, thank you to our veterans. Thank you for your service. And now it's time to eat some good chow.
Give a big shout out to We Jazz Us. We Jazz Up. Okay, in the beat. All right. Help yourself and choose. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Hey Barry, I'm sorry I didn't mean that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Manager Chapeau Rack.
What's up, my man? How you doing? All right.
Cut everybody off.
Do your thing, man.
Let me know when you get down.
You guys feel good about unplugging and...
Yeah, we'll take care of yes, I do. Let me just catch. I'll be right back. Sister Queen. Good job. I'm all set. Oh, that's mine. Yeah. Yeah, bring it over. Sean Tom. Here. Ready? Yes. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So we go.
Alright, everybody's just about cleaning up out of here, getting their food. It's a good event. Just want to show you what goes on in the city. What goes on in the city. I'll catch you guys on the next one. There's Porter.